And they're on game. He came good. Again, he's going to finish up.
Hola, ¿qué tal mis amigos? Bienvenidos a Putazos y Pendejadas. Mark Salinas, excuse me, El Tejanito here. We are going to be reporting on this weekend's big events. Excuse me. Let me turn down that TV really quick.
Talk to your uncle last time, man. They were hoping for a knockout this time around.
All right. Here we are. Mile High is on deck. Let me put him in. Sorry about that, guys. How are you, Mile High?
I'm good, my brother. How you doing?
Good, man. So talk to me. Did you I know you saw that fight this weekend. Did you see both the main event and the co-main event?
I did. The
You saw
co-main
the
event
Diaz fight?
was co-main event was fire, man. The main event, I was very it was tough to watch, man.
Yeah. Well, listen, man. What did you think about that co-main event? Did you know Tejas and the other fella?
I knew Tez. I didn't know the other fella at all.
Uh-huh.
Uh, but right when I started watching him, bro, I started noticing what he was doing. I was like, oh, you know what I mean? I knew it was going to be a better fight than people were trying to say. And you know how the announcers do it. You know, sometimes they have their favorite, and they're gonna push him. And I get it. So they were high on Tejas, but as the fight, I was watching something different from. I think the dude controlled the fight. I was the way he fought, man, was inside, and it seemed like once Tejas started getting comfortable with him on the inside, he would back out and start boxing. So Tejas couldn't really get a gauge on him. Like, okay, once I feel comfortable, like I'm in a rhythm with him on the inside, he would back out and then he would fight behind his jab. He would use the footwork, and I was like, man, I was really amazed by his skills.
Yeah, Tejas is really good, but that other gentleman, man, he won some big money, Mile High. Jake Paul, man, MVP Promotions, got to hand it out to that guy. He gave the performance of the night a big bonus. I talked to one of the other boxers, Sebastian Juarez. Shout out to Sebastian Juarez. He fought on the Friday night card, but he said the winner got a $20,000 bonus on that fight because of the performance of the weekend. So shout out to Abbas Buddha, man. He came up big with that win. Plus, this puts him in huge contention, Mile High, because I don't know if you remember last week, we were talking about Tejas and what a big opportunity this is, because the moment that bell rings, bro, Tejas, who is the mandatory to fight Crawford, the minute the bell rings for Crawford and Canelo, the WBA, and I spoke to WBA president Brian Mendoza, who was there, and this was true. As soon as the bell rang, Tejas is going to be moved up, as they did to Rolly Romero, to world championship status. So
He had the
that's
interim
huge,
title.
man. And I asked him that at the press conference, and he was aware of that. And he was aware, essentially, this is his heavyweight championship fight, because you win and bell rings, you're the champ. So unfortunate situation for the guy, man. Did you feel like he got too cocky there at the end and fucked around and lost to a lesser opponent?
I thought he was in a dogfight from round one, bro. From round one on, he was in a fight that you could tell he wasn't comfortable. He still looked good, man. He looked slick. He kept his composure all the way to what he got dropped in the 12th.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
and then we know he's stopped some guys late in the 10th, I believe. He stopped some guys. He's not opposed to stopping dudes late in fights. You know, I think he stopped a couple late round stoppages, one in the ninth, one in the 10th. Um, so he's obviously been in some fights before. I just think dude I just seen him fighting with he looked very slick on the inside. I liked what he was doing. He wasn't headhunting, he was hitting the body. He looked all around good. I was like, man, he was on his game.
You know what? Most of these the main events, the way they had it set up over there, and your experience being in the back locker rooms and things like that, the way they had it set up over there is they had all the the undercard on one side, one hallway was a big resort, and then on the other hallway they had the co-main one corner, the two co-mains of one corner on one side, and then the two co-mains of the one corner on the other. this dude was so focused, man. Most of the time, people don't like create barriers or whatever. It's just a room full of boxers and whoever, a bunch of guys in their own little corners getting done. Nah, man. These guys got up and figured out a way how to close the hall because it was a banquet hall. So they made a wall and enclosed themselves and closed off us, who was Salas Boxing and Cordova and that team and all of the guys and gyms that I'm friendly with, Rolly Romero. We got closed off together. And they closed themselves off, and we were all like, damn, what the hell's wrong with this guy? So the man was totally focused. You know what I mean? He was totally focused. He didn't want to be intervene with us or anything. And, but it was good because, it allowed us as well, and Angelino to stay focused and his whole team. I was able to stay in that locker room with him. I had all access, bro. I was able to go to every single locker room I could, Mile High. It was pretty cool. But yeah, listen, Tejas, bro, he had Ronnie Shields, and I don't know if you saw him last time, but his last performance was against J-Rock. Remember J-Rock? He was going up against him, and he had Ronnie Shields with him in that team. But I guess word on the street over there was Tejas got pretty I guess upset, or he just didn't like the Ronnie Shields team, what was happening with him. And he ended up getting a trainer named Jackson, Mr. Jackson over there in Houston. But he isn't a boxing trainer. He's more of a strength and conditioning coach who's kind of dabbling into becoming a trainer, the way Bob Santos did it. Bob Santos was strength and conditioning for Pacquiao, most notably. And then he started little by little training boxers. Well, you leave Ronnie Shields, one of the best in the world, a legend, a Hall of Famer, and then you get Jackson. And the guy, dude, he wasn't giving him any instructions in the corner, man. There was more instructions, Mile High. Dave, what's up, man? There was more instructions, Mile High, on from the fans and from his family members and other boxers than his corner. I just don't think his corner knew how to get him to that victory. I saw it a little bit different than you. I was with the announcers. I was high on Tejas, maybe because I went with a presumption that Tejas was going to watch this guy. I felt that he was winning all the earlier rounds, and then he started kind of joking around and fading at the end, but there was no instructions on how to handle this guy. Was coming on strong, and he didn't know how to handle it. I think it was a big mistake leaving Ronnie Shields' team. So I don't know. That's my input there. All these guys, man, I wish they wouldn't just go so fast and jump off their trainer so quickly, man. He should have stuck it out with Ronnie Shields. I don't know, man. I really do think, though, for sure he needs to find a solid trainer. He doesn't have a solid gym either, dude. He's jumping around from Main Street Boxing in Houston and Jay Prince's gym, just going because that guy doesn't have a gym. So that's all bad news.
Is he a Jay Prince fighter? Is he a Jay Prince fighter?
He's not, but he uses that gym because Mr. Jackson is a strength and conditioning coach, really friendly with a lot of guys in the area of Houston. And I'm sure that's why Tejas picked him. He's a likable dude, and all these guys love hanging out with him, but he's just not ready to be handling a guy of the level that Tejas is, man. But David, did you see the fight, the co-main, Tejas?
I did.
What's your? What do you think, man? I think he blew it. Mile High thinks the other fella was taking it to him from the beginning, and he was uncomfortable the whole fight. What do you think?
I agree with Mile High, man. I absolutely saw the same thing. I don't think Tejas. Look, you were really high on the guy. He did have a really good fight. He beat up J-Rock, but J-Rock's been kind of out of it for a while, man. It's kind of a blown up victory, right? I think people made too much about that fight, and this guy's still a very young fighter, and he was in with an experienced fighter. And this is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about, right? When you're a young up and coming fighter, you need experience, man. You need to be in those tough fights in the later rounds. And like when people bring up Moses Tatalma and he needs to go for Usyk right away, like, yo, chill, slow your roll, right? What are y'all talking about? That kid had not been past round 6. And you think he's going to take Usyk out in 6 rounds? You don't think Usyk's going to take that kid into deep waters and drown him? And that's exactly what Barao did. Barao took this kid. He took the fight to him. He knows that this guy is a green guy, talented, very talented fighter, no doubt about it. But Barao was a grown ass man. He's a grown ass man in there, and he took the fight to him. He put that kid in uncomfortable positions throughout the whole fight, and you saw it wear down on him. It wore him out. So looking at that, dude, there was no way Theus was prepared for anything like that, and it showed. And if he switched trainers or did whatever he did before this fight, that's another big no-no. That just shows another bit of inexperience. You don't go against a vet like this with in a new camp that you don't even know. I mean, that's a big blown opportunity. So again, inexperience in the ring, inexperience in the business side of things. It just showed that night. And man, shout out. I don't think it's fair to like blame this victory or this loss on all those other factors, but I was a better fighter. And I don't know that there was anything Theus would have been able to do with Ronnie Shields or fucking Eddie Futch in his corner to beat that guy that night. That dude was on a mission, bro.
Yeah, man.
But I was on a mission. He was out to prove some shit.
Yeah, he was. Like I was telling Mile High earlier, you didn't come in, but it was in a banquet, and stop me if you heard this part, David, but it was kind of in a banquet hall, right? And a lot of these banquet halls, you know, they can split them in half with a wall. They just add it and slide it down these big hotels. Dude, they put that wall barrier between Salas's team and us. I mean, between the Salas team and them, they put it up like they didn't want to be hearing our noise and all this stuff. You know, Cordova's team was, you know, a bunch of Hispanics, loud, big music. You know, this guy's dancing around, and they got up and barricaded themselves in there, man. Like they were like, guys, you know, we don't. They were like working in there. You know, they were getting ready, and it was all silent. So, yeah, you know that they were focused. Anything else to add to that, Mile High?
Oh, like I said, Teos, I think he ran into somebody who was just like I said on the same level or a little bit higher than him, and he dug deep down and realized he didn't have enough to get it done. Man, dude did look on. Like I said, from the second round on, I'm watching it, and I was like the announcers, like, what are you watching? Because I'm watching. So I'm watching a guy get taken apart right now. Like, dude, I'm watching this dude. He's in his chest, and as soon as Teos got comfortable with the pressure, he backed up and he started boxing. So it was like as soon as he got used to that pressure, he switched it up on him and went back to the boxing. And then Teo thought he was going to box with him, and then he got back in his chest again. I was like, man, this dude, that's high level.
Yes.
You know, he reminded me what Darryl Russell did, when he won his title, where Gary Russell, the younger Gary Russell, where he won his title against the kid who beat Pitbull, the kid who took Pitbull, and then he lost the next fight. You know, I forget what his name is.
Rayo.
Yeah, Ryo. Yes, that's how that's the way Gary Russell fought him. I watched Gary Russell. He got him like once he started getting used to timing with Gary Russell changed up the whole thing, and I was like, oh man, that's high level boxing right there. So it was a great undercard, man. That had me pumped up for the main event, and then you know.
And then pumped out. The main event.
No, I mean, no, that's boxing, though. That's boxing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not always pretty. It's not always pretty. The dude had a ton of heart. I think when you're fighting a guy like that, it's dangerous because you can get injured. We seen him get cut. I mean, man, it was just.
Yeah.
I would be mad at if my promoter threw me in with that guy. And like, bro, you've seen his style, and especially a kid who's an Olympian. You know, he's Olympian. He's still coming up, still very green. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
he's still transitioning from amateur boxing to boxing. Like, okay, you know what I mean? And
yeah, because he fought the same way against Julio Cesar Martinez. Real scrappy, real dirty. Let me go ahead and lead you guys into this one, man.
Wait. I wanna highlight that point that Mile High said about the Theus and Barao fight. I too was bugging on the announcers, man. They kept saying that Theus was doing all this great work, and I was like, "What the hell are you guys talking about?" I had this fight 9-3 Barao. 9-3, and a 10-8 round inside of that. I didn't give Diaz more than 3 rounds, man. There might have been a close 1 or 2 close rounds. I would say maybe one round that you could have swung the other way, but I had Barao big in that fight, dude. There was no way he was gonna lose that fight.
A lot of differences
I
of
had
opinion.
him like 7-5. I had him like
Yeah,
7-5, and that's
Oh, so
just
you had it
because
close.
I seen how everyone was high on the other guy, so I had him like 7-5. But it was a good fight.
The whole weekend, man. The whole weekend, if he was a buzz. Even at the press conference, there was questions asked about him becoming champ after this. He knew it. He was aware of it. Like I told you, Mendoza confirmed it there. If he, definitely won, he was going to be champ. I don't know where they're going to end up putting Badal as far as the rankings. He was not close to Tejas, maybe a few behind. But I don't know if this jumps him all the way up. It's going to be interesting to see because they would make him the champ. I don't know.
No, he's the champ. The winner of that fight is the champ. He was the number 1 ranked contender for the WBA. Diaz had the interim.
Yeah.
And he was the number 1 ranked contender. So now he's the interim champ, and he might be full now.
Yeah, no, he will be full.
Because Crawford, as soon as Crawford is mentioned, he's going to be the champ, and that's why Zayas was in the ring, because Zayas is like, he thought Diaz had been talking a lot of shit about Zayas.
Yeah.
Prior to this, he had been talking mad shit about Zayas. So Zayas showed up. It's like, well, all right. He pulled up to the arena, like, let's see what you're about. He fucking dropped the ball, bro. That was going to be a huge fight between him and Zayas. It's like Barao is going to get the shot.
And David, good point. I haven't released it yet. I'm going to release it a little bit later tonight, but I interviewed Xander Zayas for PYP Boxing, and he did mention that he wanted Tejas next, and he talked about all that. I'll be putting that out. Great way to set up a plug there, Dave. But anyway, man, let's get on to the big one. Listen, it was a dirty fight on both ends. Dirty outcome and dirty refereeing, man. Holy crap. And I was speaking to Jorge Linares after the fight, and you can probably see it on KGTV. I wasn't recording, but he was, because he was, doing an interview with Angelino. But I'm talking to Jorge, and he said this, and you can probably hear it on KGTV. Go look for it. He said, from round 1, that referee made it known that he was against Cordova, man. He was very against Cordova. He made it very apparent. At one point, he even threatened to get Salas kicked out of the ring for no apparent reason. I didn't hear the commentating. I don't know what was going on. That's what Jorge said too. Maybe we missed something, but looking at it, he was just totally against these guys. I don't know what this man, I think his name is Luis Babon, had against Luis Pavon. I don't know what he had against Angelino Cordova and the Salas boxing team, but he made it very apparent from get-go that, hey, man, he was against him. The game plan was to be dirty. I had it at 114, 113 for Angelino, but the game plan was to make it rough. Jesus Chavez, Mayweather back in the day type thing. Others that had success with Mayweather that make it a rough, ugly fight. That was it. I think a lot of it had to do with just those styles didn't styles make fights. This style did not make a fight. It was water and oil. It was ugly, but also there was true disdain on the side of Yankiel towards Angelino, I believe, because I don't even think he wanted to share the ring with the guy. Afterwards, he was, obviously for the cameras, he's nice and everything, but I don't think he liked them too much. It got a little personal on Yankiel's side. I told their team that's what I thought. And I think it was the referee, too, got it too emotional, too personal. Angelino was not emotional, but he was planning on fighting dirty. And it made it a mess. I scored it 114, 113. You got to give that one round a 9-9 when they took the point away for rabbit punching on Angelino because he was winning that round anyway. And that's the way I come up with it, 114, 113. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. Mile High, I know you're got some high emotions about this because I was talking to you Saturday night, so I'll let you cook first, and then David finish it off. Go ahead, Mile High.
No disrespect to it, Cordova, but when I seen him first throw his first 3 punches, I was like, what was that?
What the
He's
hell
a
is
slow
that?
starter.
So what he reminded me of is a very unpolished Mayorga. He looked like a very unpolished Mayorga, and man, the kid's
Good.
a dog.
That
I'm not
was
gonna say,
good
you
right
know,
there.
I thought Yankiel, I thought he was too nice. Cause hey bro, I would have started low blowing him, bro. I felt like, dude was trying to hurt him. I think the other kid was a little too nice, like I said, and that's that amateur boxing. He still hasn't learned how to be a dog yet. I didn't see no dog in that kid. Um, I was surprised that he didn't have a jab, that he's Olympian. I'm like, dude, where the hell is your jab? Like, bro, a jab would have neutralized a lot of that wild punching where he comes swinging with his head in. They're going to collide heads. Anybody who comes in and they're swinging and their head's going everywhere and they're using all their might to throw their punch. I mean, that's dangerous. And he got cut. He got cut. He got a nasty cut. And that's boxing, though. Like I said, I would be very pissed at my promoter for putting me in. I would rather fight me personally as a fighter. I would rather fight a very highly skilled guy because then I know I'm going to get hit with the precision punch that, you know what I mean? That you just, if it is, it's a knockdown, I'm a knockout. You know what I mean? It's quick. You know what I mean? It's not something where hey man, I threw my shoulder out because me and this dude locked up and I went to torque and throw a hook and he threw some wild punch and we caught arms and my shoulder's torn now. Or it happens, man. It happens. I mean, the one time I got hurt in the ring, the last time it was from a guy who was very green. Um, that's probably just how he boxes, man. And if it is, he's a dog, and I see it. Yeah, it's not my forte. That's not what I like to see in the ring. But at the same time, hey, man, it's boxing. I know they started picking apart his record right away in the commentary. They started picking apart his record. They said only one guy out of 11 guys that he fought is, and I'm like, well, why is he the main event then? Like, but I know the other guy was Jake Paul's guy. You see Jake Paul, he makes no. I think the ref did let a lot of it go. I was surprised he only took the 1 point. So yeah, it was a. I wasn't surprised by the draw. I'm not mad at the draw at all. You know what I
Me
mean?
neither. I'm not
But
mad
it
at the
was
draw.
it
I
was
think
a
it should have
crazy
been a
fight.
draw. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think either guy deserved to win. To be honest with you, I don't think either of them deserved.
Cordova was stone faced though. Cordova was stone faced. I liked his emotion. He controlled it. Even when he felt like they were against him, he was like, "Shit, I'm here to fight. Let's go." You know what I mean? So I like that. I like that. He was there to win. Um, yeah, I'm not mad at the draw. I want to see it again? No, I don't want to see it again.
Hell no, and I don't think anybody on either side wants to see that fight.
David, I know you got
Nobody talked about rematch either in the interviews.
They did both sides did talk about. I did interview both of them on that, and both
No, I'm
wanted.
just saying on the telecast, none of them.
Oh.
Nobody mentioned rematch. The interviewers didn't mention rematch. Nobody. I don't think anybody wants to see that, even if they talked about it.
Yeah. David, what did you think, man? I know you had some strong feelings as well.
Yeah, dude. I look. I've seen just a couple of fights of Cordova, and he never looked like that. He never looked that bad. And I was thinking to myself, damn, I remember the fight with Julio Cesar Martinez being kind of awkward. And I was like, was it that bad? Because I thought Cordova looked good in that fight. So I went back and rewatched the Martinez and Cordova fight. And he fought so much better in that fight.
Yeah.
He actually had a jab. His punches were straight. He wasn't leading in with his head. He was maintaining proper distance. He fought a lot better versus Martinez than he did versus Rivera. When I saw him fighting Rivera, I was like, what the hell happened to this kid, man? He looked like an amateur. Straight up. He was slapping with his glove, with his punches. He wasn't turning the knuckles over. He was very wide with his shots. He was leaving his head in. I don't know what was going on with Cordova, but looking at that, he was fighting very amateurish. It just really surprised me. And I agree with Mile High. Rivera brought a lot of that on his own. He has enough technique to be able to fight that dude off or control that guy who was being pretty wild. And he should have did it with the jab. He should have used the jab because he would have caught Cordova coming in with his face, leading in with his face like he was, he would have been able to at least keep him at bay so that he wouldn't crash his space. But yeah, man, that was a pretty terrible showing by Cordova. I was very surprised by that. I could not believe he did a whole camp with Ismael Salas. I don't understand that. I don't know how he came out looking like that. The only thing that I could think of there's two. One is the southpaw stance may have thrown him off or something, and another thing is maybe the moment was too big for him. Maybe he hasn't fought since what? Is it true?
It had been almost a year.
It's a year and a half.
And it was a lot of
March. You know, it's basically last March, so almost a year and a half.
November. It was November. It was November.
No, it was March.
Was it March?
March 2024. I don't know if he had another fight after that, but that Martinez fight was
Yes.
March.
Oh, yeah. He hadn't fought since August 2025. A year. Wait.
Yeah, I don't.
No. I'm sorry. Since December. He fought in December against Josue Jesus Morales.
Okay. I didn't see that one, so I don't know how he went 8 rounds in that fight, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't get to see that fight, but dude, whatever it was, this guy was not on it. And Yankiel, again, I think he just being a young kid, also being very green, he didn't know how to deal with someone who was that rough. And it's basics, man. I think Mile High is 100% right. A jab would have made a world of difference. I remember I was sparring a guy. He was a pretty big guy, and but he was very green, right? And the coach told me, "Hey, I want him to go some rounds with you. I want to see what he has." And I'm like, "Hey, coach, there's a big fucker. What are you doing?" He's like, "Nah, it's cool. Just take it easy on him. Like, take it easy on him." He's like, "Yeah, he does. He's real green." I said, "All right." So I went in. And when I was in the ring with him, I was like, damn, this fucker's big. And then sure enough, you know, he was all cool. Yeah, man. All right. Yeah, we'll go light, whatever. The bell rings and that fucker came swinging at me crazy, dude. I was like, hey, oh shit. Oh, all right. And then, so right there, I was like, all right, I already know. I'm just going to jab his ass. And dude, I bloodied that guy's nose so bad in the round. They had to stop it because it was just coming in. And it was so easy. I could see him coming a mile away. So, you know, coach say, hey, man, you didn't have to bust his nose. I say, hey, man, he came at me crazy. So, I had to show him. The jab makes make a big difference. So, I don't want to see this fight again. I hope they never meet each other. Maybe if Cordova can come back and put up a better performance against somebody else and prove that that's not who he is, then maybe, you know, we can give it another shot. But, I also kind of scored it close, man. Some of those rounds were so hard. The first round, I didn't know who to give that to, dude. None of them really landed any punches at all in that first round. And it was so weird with the wrestling and all that. I called that round a draw. And so at the end of it, the 8th round was another hard one for me to score. But I ended up scoring it for Yankiel, 114-113.
Yeah.
So, you know, that was it. But I'm not mad at the draw. I don't think either of those guys really deserve to get a win off of that.
Yeah, I know. You know, Angelino's team is definitely calling out for a rematch. I spoke to Coach Guevara, Yankiel's coach. He said he's down for a rematch. But, I mean, he's still got high status, man. He's got a lot of fans, man. It was a pro-Puerto Rican area. And they really love him, man. He's a big deal in Puerto Rico, so he doesn't really have to rematch Angelino. He's still growing, so they could just throw him somewhere else and keep growing. And he's with MVP. You know, for Angelino, he got to draw against a pretty big name. He's got a no contest against another big name. I'm sure they're going to put him in somewhere, and I don't think it's going to affect him in his WBA ranking. He's pretty high there. I believe he's number 1 or number 2. So he's coming back onto the rankings on the WBC. Word is he's going to be placed around number 4 and probably duke it out. If nothing goes with the WBA, he's probably going to duke it out with Chihuas Rodriguez, who just got caught doping when he fought over in Europe against Yafai. So that's the news on Angelino. Don't miss Angelino tomorrow night, live with us, PYP Boxing. Guys, big news. Boots Ennis is sparring with Canelo. I was out. I was busy. Really didn't get to read the headlines or anything or get to see anything, but I know that he is in camp with Canelo and sparring. Everybody was talking over there in Orlando. Everybody was saying this is great for Canelo, and it's going to be, Boots can show him and mimic an older Crawford. Maybe even Boots is faster and more on point than Crawford at this time, so it may benefit Canelo better. What do you make of all this, David?
Well, when I heard about it, I thought it's a pretty smart move, right? I don't think Crawford and Boots have that similar of styles, but there are some things they both do that are kind of the same, particularly the switch hitting, and they both have a high ring IQ. But I watched the video of Stephen Breadman Edwards, and they asked him about it, and he's very familiar with Boots. He's very familiar with a lot of the fighters out of Philly. And he made some good points, man. And he got me thinking, like, oh, this is actually a bigger deal than I realized. He said it's not just that Canelo brought in Boots to spar. It's also the timing. Like, there's about 3 weeks to go in camp, right? So this is kind of the time when fighters start peaking, or they're about to peak. So he's bringing Boots in at the right time to be sparring. Because according to him, Boots has never had an off day in the gym. He's been seeing Boots spar for like 10 years, right? Never had an off day. He's never seen him look bad in the gym. And he stays in the gym, so he's always sharp. And when he's in the gym and he's sparring people, Boots goes full speed. He likes to embarrass his sparring partners. So if Canelo had brought Boots in earlier in camp, when he's just getting into shape, he might not have been good enough, or he might have been, kind of taking a licking in those sparring sessions. And then he made another point that also made a lot of sense. And then he reiterated, this is something, this is kind of the negative side to it, right? Like this is kind of be a negative to it. Since Boots goes so hard in sparring, one negative side to that is he could probably take a little bit out of Canelo prior to the fight with Bud. I don't know if they had some kind of gentleman's agreement about how to prepare in this instance, but Canelo brought him in for a reason, and it's to get work, right? And if he's getting work in, I don't know if you saw those pics, man. Boots looks huge, bro. He looks big. Like, he looks like
man. Because he's off season right now. He ain't getting ready for anything, so he's big.
No. Well, Breadman said he puts on weight between fights, but he's always in the gym. So he's never like he's never like, he puts on weight, but he's never like lazy, just sitting around eating Cheetos and shit, right?
A lot of it looks like muscle weight. This guy's a monster.
He looks like a light heavyweight, bro. That hasn't cut weight yet. That's what he looks like. And he said that when Boots tries to spar you and he tries to put a hurting on you, he might have taken something out of Canelo, or those sparring sessions might wear Canelo down a little bit prior to the Bud fight. So those are the plus and the minuses to that. Overall, though, I think it is a good move because Boots and Crawford, they don't switch hit the same. Like, Boots will do it in the middle of a fight and he'll go back and forth kind of on it. Crawford will fight the whole fight, either southpaw or right-handed. You don't know, right? And he may switch once and never switch back the other way. But he can also do the back and forth too. So I think Crawford is a little bit better at the switch hitting than Boots is. And he's a little bit more dangerous because you've heard the story about his left hand, right? Why it's so strong. When he was a teenager, he broke his right arm, and they told him he couldn't train. And he said, well, fuck that. I'm going to keep training. And when he trained with his left hand the whole time until his right arm healed. and he was just nothing but left hand. And then he ended up developing his left hand. He said it got stronger than his right, and he's right-handed. So I think he's even more dangerous from a switch hitting perspective because that left hand is so strong. But either way, Canelo needs to get used to a guy doing that to him and being able to prepare for that. Because it's a totally different thing, man, when you're fighting a southpaw versus a right-hander. It's just everything's backwards, bro. So I think it's a good move.
Yeah. Before I get to you, Mile High David, there was a coach, a boxing coach, legendary boxing coach in Philadelphia who taught his boxer how to fight with the left hand. And his rematch with Apollo Creed, he tied his right hand and he made him use his left. Maybe same effect? No?
They are the outlaw southpaws.
He says, if you use your right hand, I'm gonna rip it off. Hey, so Mile High, man, Boots is over. With Canelo, guys are saying over there in Orlando, big trainers, man. He's a younger, faster, possibly stronger Crawford. Is this gonna help out Canelo?
I think it'd definitely help him. I wouldn't go as far as to say Boots is that. You know what I mean? I like Boots. I'm a fan of Boots, but he's still, I don't think he's. I personally don't think he's half the fighter Crawford is. But we're gonna definitely see. I think it's more of a mind game. You hear a lot of and I hear a lot of the black boxing channels. They're mad. They're mad at Boots and saying that he sold out. He sold out yeah, it's a big old like it's a race thing, bro. And I'm like, wow, really? I'm a fan of boxing, bro. I don't get me wrong, hey, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I got Crawford in this fight. And people are gonna tell me I'm crazy, and I hear that from the gente too, like, oh, you going against Canelo, whatever, bro. I'm a fan of boxing,
Right?
But
Yeah.
I hear that on a lot of these black channels, and I'm like, man, really? What is this? That really what boxing's coming to? If you want to get a top talent in your gym to spar, man, I think that's great. I think that's great. I think that's great for Canelo. I think it's more of a mind thing. Right now, I think it's more of a mind thing because they are compared so much. I think Canelo and his team know what they're doing. I think because Boots and Crawford are constantly prepared and have been mentioned in the same breath, and that Canelo or Crawford should have fought Boots or Boots should have fought Crawford. I think it's more of a mind thing. Do I think Boots is going to go hard on Canelo in the sparring? No. I think they're going to spar hard. But like I said, when you're in there with somebody of your caliber or maybe a higher caliber, you kind of ease back on that because you know it could get out of hand real quick. And he's there. He's preparing for a once in a lifetime fight. So I don't think Boots would do that. I really don't. I heard Boots reach out to Canelo, you know what I mean, and ask to spar, you know what I mean? And they said, well, we pay like 13,000 to spar, which is drops in the bucket. So I think it's more of a mind thing. I think it's a real mind thing. I think he's going to get some top notch sparring out of Boots. Is it going to help him in the fight? I don't know, man. We've seen Crawford in there with the likes of Andre Ward, you know what I mean? And I can say, well, Andre Ward, man, he's a big dude, and man, we're talking about one of the best at that weight class, you know what I mean? But he's been out for a long time, so is it really going to matter? I don't know. I think it's just going to come out to these two guys and where they're at in their old age, and because they're at the end of their careers. Both of them are towards the end of their careers. I wanted to see David Benavidez versus Canelo. I'd much rather pay for that fight. But we're going to see him against Crawford, and you're gonna see I think Crawford has the ability to make Canelo look bad. I really do. But I think Canelo has the ability to hurt Crawford too. If we don't know, like I said, we've seen Crawford hurt with lighter weight punchers. What's it going to look like when he gets caught with one of those Canelo hooks or one of those, those body shots? What's it going to look like? And that's what we're all looking to see. What's going to happen? We hear that stuff all the time. The smaller fighter. He's giving up 2 weight classes. We forget Manny Pacquiao, man. Do we forget? When Manny Pacquiao, uh, was beating the shit out of guys that were 3 weight classes higher than him. You know what I mean? It doesn't always work out that way. It doesn't always. Where the bigger fighter ain't always the better fighter. But like I said, Canelo's at that point in his career where he wants the big money fights. You know, Turk wants to see it. It's going to be a great fight, man. It's going to be a great fight. I'm looking forward to it. And but I think it's all for the head games. Everything's head games in boxing. A lot of it's mind. You know, the mindset and how you're dealing with it, all the way even up into the fight. Even up into the fight. You know what I mean? Even up in the fight, when you see a guy stand in his corner and not take his stool, he's pretty much, you know, he's screwing with his opponent, telling you, look, I could stand all this whole time. I don't have to sit down. You know what I mean? I just went hard with you, and I'm gonna stand right here, and then we're gonna go hard again, and I'm gonna stand again. I don't need to take a seat. You know what I mean? That's just happens in boxing. So I think it's a pick 'em fight, man. It's a pick 'em fight, and man, who you got?
David, I'm going to pose a question to you as I'm frozen here. I'm going to pose a question to you, come back, and then come back in. But listen,
Exactly.
I was
See, that's
talking to
That looks strong, though. You
Les
look strong right there. That still looks strong.
Yeah.
I was talking to Coach Lescay Hernandez, who's an assistant of Salas, David, and he told me, forget what this is benefiting Canelo. Imagine what this is going to do for Boots. This guy's going to leave with so much wealth and knowledge and IQ in the ring. It's incredible. He said Canelo's that much of a genius in the ring that Boots is going to go back with maybe 50% more of what he already knows. Like, it's so beneficial for him. This could probably like make him a whole new boxer. Do you agree with that, David?
Make Canelo a whole new boxer?
No. Canelo benefiting Boots is what the question is.
Yeah.
Hey, forget what he's doing forget what this is doing for Canelo, he said.
No.
Imagine what this is going to do for Boots. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
Absolutely. I think this is up in Boots' game as well. You know, that the saying is iron sharpens iron, right? That's an old saying, man. And I absolutely think so. I bet they're both learning shit.
That didn't help.
With each other. Yeah, it didn't help.
Yeah, it's all right.
That is a very presidential picture, bro.
We'll just leave it like that.
Put that shit on your avatar way.
You want to laugh? I was interviewing Gio Marquez, Rafael Marquez's son, and this shit happened, but I modified it in the interview. It was all right. All right, man. Go ahead, David. I'm sorry.
No. I agree with that. I think it's true. I think they're both gonna get better out of their sparring sessions with each other. And it's that special, man, when you're talking about boxers at the high level, like, they pick up stuff quick, especially the guys that make adjustments in the ring. Crawford is one of them. He makes adjustments. Boots has been known to make adjustments. Canelo from time to time. I haven't seen him do it in a while, but he knows how to make adjustments in the ring too. That's because they got that high IQ, man. They see something and they pick up on it, and then they know how to adjust, right? Or they download the data, as they say. I bet those dudes were doing the very same thing when they were sparring each other. So there's no doubt they both came out better for it. And you know what, Maha, you're right. You're kind of right. Canelo, all right, maybe he didn't pay Boots a high amount of money. Maybe he did. But Boots probably going in there with a lot more respect with him versus how he would do other sparring partners that he might see in Philly. So it may be a thing where he knows not to go too hard or go full speed, because, you know, in Spanish there's the saying, como miro tiro, right? My dad used to say that all the time, como miro tiro. The way you throw is how I'm going to throw. So Boots probably didn't want Canelo going full speed either, because he knocks out light heavyweights, man. Yeah. He can knock out light heavyweights, so he can hurt you too.
Conrad, I was talking to a gentleman named Thomas DeLorme. I don't know if you guys remember him. He fought back in the day, and he told me after this, when Boots is in the ring,
he fought Bud, right?
He did fight Bud, yes. He fought several other guys, man. Thomas DeLorme is a good guy. Shout out to him for, you know, sitting there with Lescay, both of these guys telling me what this is going to benefit Boots, you know, like how this is going to benefit Boots. Yeah, it's helping Canelo, but damn, what Thomas DeLorma added is, and also when he goes into the ring now, Mark, when he sees that other guy, he's never gonna be ever like it's gonna give his confidence. Like he's gonna feel like he can kill the guy on the other corner because he's been in there with Canelo. It's like he's gonna feel like a giant next to anybody he fights now. It's gonna help him big time mentally. Like it's gonna change his psyche to think I can beat anybody because I've been in here with Canelo. You know what I mean? Is that true, Mile High? Will that happen?
You definitely get better by training with better opposition. Definitely, I definitely it's called the even when you face a guy in a fight and you face a higher caliber dude, you see, and I think that's like you fight that higher caliber, you see those guys, they get that rub and they come back in, and that next fight they look like they look like a completely different fighter, man. And so I definitely think it's going to benefit Boots a lot, man. We're still looking at a guy young in his career and is capable of collecting all them bouts. We'll see what happens. I'm excited for that division. That is one that that is one stacked division now, man. It ain't the old 154 anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Listen,
think he's going to definitely benefit for sure.
yeah, Boots is. I mean, that's what the talk was, man. Like people were saying, "Wow, badass for Canelo," but real trainers and real boxing minds out there were saying, "Man, how good is Boots going to be after this?" You know what I mean? But anything else happened, guys, this weekend? I was really busy. I mean, there was two weigh-ins, there was two press conferences, 2 nights of like 14 fights. Was there any big current news that's happened that I missed?
Shit, man. Just the Ortiz. I'd like to talk about the Ortiz Lubin a little bit.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I spoke to some people out there. Manny from Boxeo Urbano. I spoke to Cesar Seda about that. They all think that Virgil's in trouble. Cesar Seda, shout out to him from Boxeo Urbano, but he does think that that Virgil's in trouble with Erickson Lubin. Man, what do you think, Mile High? I'll start with you first.
I think he'll do great, man. I thought Madrimov was going to give him problems. I wasn't sold on him because of his fight before Madrimov, and I thought Madrimov was going to give him some problems. So he surprised me in that fight, man. He controlled Madrimov. He backed him up. He made him look kind of made him look silly, man. I was really impressed with Virgil. So I'm not going to count him out again, man. I think, like I said, that division's stacked. I can't wait till these fights start happening. There's a lot of talent and all the champions. This ain't the same Charlo 154, man. I doubt that guy could probably hold any of those bouts now. You know what I mean? And those dudes, it's just a stacked division. Like I said, Ortiz. I'll believe it when I see it. I want to start seeing him go get the upper echelons and start facing these champions, man.
Yeah, David, I spoke, and thank you very Mile High for that. But David, I spoke to Cesar Seda from Boxeo Urbano. He thinks Erickson Lubin's got a shot to beat Virgil. He thinks Virgil's in some danger, man. And he added that remember what he did to Mono Ramos, and Mono Ramos was an up and comer like Virgil is and shouldn't be, but people still view him as an up and comer. They think Erickson Lubin's the bad fight for him. He may lose.
Okay. I kind of disagree and agree and disagree with that take, but I told you that this isn't the gimme that people are talking about. Like Lubin has a boxer puncher style that could give Virgil issues. I still got Virgil. I still got Virgil in this fight, but I don't think it's a bad fight, man. I think Lubin he's a top 10 154 pounder. Like that's not a bad consolation prize. Considering, I mean, it could have been Keith Thurman. That's who it was going to be. I prefer this fight versus Keith Thurman. Once upon a time, Thurman. I heard on the internet. So I think this is a good fight, and it's also a good test for Virgil. We haven't seen him in with a boxer puncher who can crack, and Lubin can crack. We haven't seen him in with somebody like that yet. Madrimov kind of is, but he's more of a herky-jerky kind of guy. Lubin is a counter puncher. I'll set you up kind of guy. He'll set you up into a shot. And he can brawl too. He can brawl as well. So I think it'll be a fun fight. I would have rather seen Virgil versus Zayas, but I understand why that didn't happen. Oscar isn't willing to fight in Puerto Rico, or Oscar isn't willing to let Virgil fight in Puerto Rico. Zayas wants a fight in Puerto Rico, so I think he's the champ. You want to go get his belt? Go take his belt in front of his people. But Oscar wasn't trying to do that, so then negotiations fall. But I think Zayas has a point, man. Hey, I'm gonna fight in Puerto Rico. Come see me in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Virgil doesn't really have the leverage to say where the fight's gonna happen and when or whatever. He doesn't have that leverage to me.
Yeah.
But anyway, I like the fight. The thing that I disagreed about what the guy said, that Lubin and Ramos fight was trash, bro. Both of those guys, they didn't do much.
They both had a weird night that night, right?
Yeah, it was weird.
It was a night for them.
It was a really weird night. They both were kind of just looking at each other most of the time, They got my gloves up. Are you gonna punch? No.
That was all the fights that night were great. That was the Crawford Spence night. So the Crawford Spence night, it wasn't like a good fight, but it was a great knockout. There had to be one disappointing one that night, I'm saying, and that was it. But listen, man, shout out to Boxeo de Altura Manny on Facebook. He has about 171,000 followers. I know this old man. He's a great old dude. He used to write Joe Louis articles that I used to read back in the day, and I met him this weekend. But even he from Boxeo Altura, man, go follow this guy, Manny. Manny, thank you for all your advice this weekend. He says Erickson Lubin's gonna win. Do you agree or disagree, Mile High?
I disagree.
You think Virgil's got it?
Yeah, I think Virgil gets him.
Yeah. David, when do we think that's gonna happen?
What, the fight?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be November. It's gonna be before the big Riyadh card in November, so it's early November. I think I remember seeing 8th I want to say it's the 8th. But I know it's gonna be November, something around November. I think Virgil's gonna knock him out, man.
Yeah, guys, stop me. What you think Virgil's gonna knock him out, David?
Yeah, I just because like Lubin has had some chin issues, and I just confirm it is going to be November 8th. That's when they have it. They have it set up. Lubin's been stopped. He's been in some wars too, bro. The fight with Sebastian Fondora, dang, that was bad. And then don't forget, Charlo knocked him out pretty gacho too years ago. He's a tough dude, man, but I mean, he's been stopped before a couple of times and brutally. So I think Virgil's just too young, too fresh. I think he's gonna get him.
Yeah. Okay.
But he's just got to be careful. I want to see mid-range. Remember me and Mikey? We were kind of going. Mikey from Los Tres Chingones.
Yeah.
We thought mid-range Virgil. Mid-range Virgil is gonna win this fight. Not come into close, not in close quarters, Virgil. Don't get up close on him, Virgil. Stay mid-range, and you got this fight in the bag, bro.
Yeah. I don't know. I was around a lot of Latin American guys, Latino, Caribbean, Spanish people, not Mexicanos. So a lot of them were pulling for Lubin. But that will be a great fight too. Stop me if you guys watched any of this. I just want to send out a couple of shout outs to some boxers that I got to see. Stephanie Hahn against Paulina Angel. Stephanie Hahn is a police officer, a beauty queen, a mother, and a boxer. Did any of you guys see her performance against a tough Paulina Angel and her good-looking trainer from Colombia? A whole bunch of funny stories about them over the weekend, but nothing crazy. But just those were nice girls. We were having a great time just joking around everybody, man. It was a nice weekend. But Dave, what did you think of Stephanie Hahn's performance?
Yeah, man, at Tejana, man. She's from El Paso, bro.
El Paso?
Yeah, dude, they came to throw leather that night. I'm getting more and more respect for like the ladies of boxing. They come to throw down a lot of times, dude. They don't mess around. And Han got dropped in the first round.
Yeah.
Right hand to the jaw. And she got up. She didn't look flustered. She looked calm. She took it on the chin, literally, and got back up and went to business, man. And she even hurt. I think she came back and hurt Yankiel in that first round towards the end. I like what I saw, dude. The exchanges were furious. It was a very fun fight to watch. And I just the poise that Han showed, man, being dropped early in the first round. Then she got a headbutt that caused a deep cut in the third. I had Han winning basically every round. I only gave Angel maybe like 2 or 3, maybe like the last round. The first round and the last round, I think I gave her. Han, she was just too fast, man. Her hands were really quick. And I loved how she was exchanging. She was punching with Angel on the inside. Like Angel would try to throw a 1-2, and Han would come with a 3 or 4 punch combination. She's very aggressive inside, but she's controlled. So I really like that, man. And next up is going to be a title defense. I think they were talking about Holly Holm going in
Holly
there.
Holm was there ringside.
Yeah, they were talking. She was watching. She was commentating on the fight. And she said it'd be an honor to fight that girl in Albuquerque, New Mexico. They think they can get a big crowd out there for that fight. And that'll be a hell of a fight, man. Holly Holm is no joke, bro. That lady can fight. She's got a lot of boxing experience. I know she's more known in MMA, but she's won some titles when she was, women's boxing wasn't that big several years ago when she was in it. But she's got, I don't know, that's something like over 30 fights, maybe 40 fights in boxing. So she's coming with some experience, and I think she won her last fight. She returned to the ring and she won her last fight. So I think that's going to be a good one.
Yeah. How about you, Mile High? Did you check out Stephanie Han, the cop from El Paso?
I did. She looked good. She controlled the distance. She had a nice jab. She was pot shotting her on the way in, and then once she got in, she was exchanging with her. She wasn't uncomfortable on the inside. She definitely made that girl fight for her. But in the first round, she got a little careless. She just started banging with her right away, and then after that, you seen her get dropped, and then especially after she got headbutt, she started controlling the distance more, and that's when she really started putting in the work on her. I thought she looked excellent. She looked good. She showed her. Showed a lot of heart and a lot of moxie, and she didn't panic after she got cut. And she got a tough win.
Yeah. I have some footage on Paulina Angel, and shout out to her, man, in the locker room warming up. She really didn't look like much. Word on the street over there was that she was very, very inexperienced, and she was. And they threw her out there with this girl being, 7-1 with 2 draws and 3 KOs, but she had no amateur experience, and you can tell she's, very fresh. Shout out to her, David. You can see some of the footage. It's all on Google Photos there, but yeah, she looked very different from her warm up to up there. She turned it on up there, but shout out to Paulina. She gave a tough fight and earned herself probably a couple of more fights out there with MVP, I heard. Did you guys get to see Lucas' body? Just give me a yes.
Yeah.
Okay, how about yourself, Mile High? Now listen to this, guys. Lucas' body was number 5 in the WBA, right behind Macayo, a Marines Promotions boxer out of Westlaco, Texas, here by way of Venezuela. He was number 4. He's been a little bit inactive. It's been hard for him to get some fights here, but Macayo was the mandatory for Tank Davis because Andy Cruz is fighting in the IBF. Several other guys ahead of them are fighting on other places. So Macayo was number 4. Lucas Body, the knockout artist, was number 5. Lucas Body knew this, and he had a tough match against Roger Gutierrez, ex-world champion. This was a big test for Body, and it was freaking hard for him, but he dug in there. He did get the knockout, David. What do you think about Lucas Body? And now he is the mandatory against Tank. But, David, it gets more interesting, and I want you to tell me this. Tank is probably going to retire, man, after this fight. That's what everybody is saying. So now you may have Lucas Body fight it out with Macayo for the world championship status, or Lucas Body's going to be risen to number 1, and Macayo maybe have to fight him. What do you think of all of this?
I like what I saw from Body. He's a nice, slick boxer puncher. Gutierrez didn't really show him much because he wasn't really throwing a lot of punches. You could tell that guy was heavy-handed, man, but he just wasn't throwing a lot. And neither fighter was really that busy, to be honest with you. But he just didn't give Body a lot to worry about. But both of those dudes, they did have power. It's just there's one thing, right? It's one thing to have power, and it's a whole other thing to set it up and land it. And Body knows how to set up the power. He knows how to work on the inside, and he knows what combinations to throw. Punch selection is something else, man, that I always look for in a fighter. Are they throwing the right punches, or are they just, they're just being random with it, right? And he has really good punch selection, and he knows which combinations to throw to create space for a shot to land. But if Body is going to take on the top guys at 135, I think he's going to need to work the jab more. I didn't see a lot of jabbing from him. He was kind of sporadic with it. And it didn't come back to haunt him because Gutierrez wasn't that busy. But it's gonna haunt him if he doesn't use the jab against those top fighters. I'm not familiar with who is the guy that you said that he might be up for?
Macayo.
Yeah, I'm not that familiar with him. But I'm definitely going to keep an eye on Body. I want to see if he can make some noise at 135. I also agree with we probably are not going to see Tank after this Paul fight.
We're never.
And if we do, it won't be at 135. But I doubt he's going to come back after this, man. He was already talking about retiring a year ago. He said this was going to be his last year in boxing. And it kind of makes sense, get this. I don't know how much he's getting paid for the Jake Paul fight. I'm assuming it's a lot. And it's kind of the big payday that he's been looking for. And he's going to be out. And I say good riddance, man.
Yeah.
He's been holding up the division for far too long. So
yeah.
See you,
Stay with me here, guys. A couple more minutes. I know I've had you guys here for quite a bit of time, but hey, Connor, man, I know you saw this. Jocelyn Camarillo. I was having some locker room footage of her putting it out there. Nonito Donaire jumped in her corner. Did you see that, man? This little girl, dude, Jocelyn Camarillo, she's going to be something. She was the first girl on the prelims. I didn't know who she was, but I met her uncles the night before, and they told me that Nonito Donaire volunteered to be in their corner because he knew who she was, dude. She's a famous little girl on Instagram. Y'all go check her out. She's a Chicana from Coachella. Her uncles are Castillo, the Castillo team who used to help out Joel Diaz and his brother. She is a little popular girl. She's got about, 80,000 people following her on IG, and she is a fucking fighter, man. Nonito Donaire offered his services. He wants to be a part of her team. He ain't even gonna charge her. He just wants to help her, with some clout. Hey, I'll be here. Humble guy. Hey, I'll fucking handle the water and the spit bucket for you guys. I just want to help you out. I think you're a big talent. No money. He didn't ask for any money. Nothing. He's giving her free advice. Shout out to Jocelyn Camarillo. And she had an excellent performance, man. Excellent performance by that girl. Another person I want to shout out, Jermaine Ortiz. Jermaine Ortiz, remember he fought Teofimo Lopez. He was branded a runner. He came back. He took a stay busy fight. Previously to Saturday, he was number 8 on the IBF, number 10 on the WBA and WBC. And on the IBF, he was number 11. So he won by knockout, put all that to bed about him being a runner and all that. Knockout to the body against a real tough Bautista. So shout out to Jermaine Ortiz, man, who's coming back. And he's already, after this fight, put himself in position to have a world title match. He's got either Subriel to choose from or Richardson Hitchens, who I would like him to fight because he's already beat Richard Hitchens in the amateurs, and I'd like to see what they look like now. But Jermaine did call out Subriel. David, any thoughts on Jermaine calling out Subriel after his stay busy fight on the prelims Saturday night, which jumped him up from 10 on the IBF, 11 on the WBA, I believe 8 and number 10 on the others. He's jumped up and he's got, I talked to his manager. It was a stay busy fight that got him a win. He's going to move up. What do you think about him choosing the Subriel Matias route over the Hitchens, who he knows he could beat because he beat him in the amateurs? But these guys, David, that you're around in these big events, Bob Santos said, Mark, come on, man, don't be gullible. You know why he wants Subriel? It's because Subriel is with Turkey. You make more money over there. He's not going to make any money fighting Richard Hitchens. You know what I mean? Do you believe that that's true, David?
100%. 100%. There's no doubt about that. I think that's the better fight. I actually like that fight. I would rather see that than Richardson, Hitchens, and Jermaine. I didn't get to see Jermaine's last fight, though. I got to admit, I didn't see it.
You didn't see it Saturday?
I didn't get to. I don't know.
I was there. It was a stay busy. David, he came out.
I know he was supposed to fight Claggett.
I guess it went out, but he fought Bautista, and he went at this guy, David. He knocked him out with a body shot.
No, it's a last minute replacement, right? So it's one of those things, dude. They're not gonna put a dangerous guy in there with him.
Well, he wasn't bad. It was 19-2. He had 11 knockouts.
Yeah, but it depends on who those 19 people are.
Yeah,
right. Dude, I could probably find a way to make a 19-2 record with my very limited boxing experience. But here's the thing. I think Jermaine does have a good style to give Subriel some issues. He's really slick on his feet. But I would have liked to have seen the Claggett fight, because I would have told Claggett and Subriel fight very, very similarly. Claggett is a pressure fighter. He comes at you. He's relentless. He doesn't really have punching power, but he's very busy. He pushed Teofimo to 12 rounds. And I think he would fight very similar to how Subriel would have fought. And that would have kind of let me know what I think Jermaine would look like versus Subriel. I really don't want to see him versus Hitchens, though. I don't like that matchup. I don't think it would be that great. And I don't put a lot of weight on who beat who on amateur fights. Remember, there was a Miguel Cotto. He had a big fight against Kelson Pinto. And they made a big deal about that fight because Pinto had beaten him in the amateurs like 2 or 3 times. And Miguel Cotto knocked that dude out in like 4 or 5 rounds. All right. So like,
I remember that.
Doesn't mean anything. But sometimes it means something. Sometimes it doesn't. But I don't always put a lot of weight on that.
Yeah. Well, thank you. That's all we have. And I just want to have 3 shout outs, guys. Be looking out for Yankiel Rivera, who fought on Friday night in the main event, beat and knocked out Daniel Bailey, who was a big, dangerous fighter as well. Also, be on the lookout for Carlos De Leon, who also had another knockout. Carlos De Leon moves to 5-0 with 4 knockouts. I really like that kid. And the one that I really liked, local kid, Sebastian Juarez, moves to 9-0 with a big KO and a big win in the interview as well, as he got Jake Paul to get up on the stage with him and have a really nice moment for him and his family. Sebastian Juarez is definitely on his way. Those 3 guys I really want to shout out to. I think those are dudes that we definitely need to keep an eye on. But thank you guys for joining us.
Can we say one more thing, man? I just
want to go ahead. Absolutely.
Something I've been meaning to say, dude. I really enjoyed those MVP fights, Friday and Saturday. I didn't get to see the Jermaine fight, but I watched some of the Friday card and the Saturday card. Those were good quality fights, man. And the presentation of the show is good. All the boxers were very happy and thankful to be on the card. I wasn't familiar with a lot of those names, man, but like there were good quality fighters on those cards. I think MVP is definitely they're becoming a big player in the boxing game, man.
Yeah, man, David, you know what else, man? They treat us like gold, dude. Not only do they let us, not only do they just let us, you know how some of the other, I don't want to mention names, but we've been to big events and they put us kind of like in a bullpen. We really can't go anywhere to the hey, man, MVP gives you locker room access. They put you right next to the ring. They invite a lot of writers. I really like that. I'm not a writer, but they invited a lot of writers. I was sitting next to the guys from Boxing Scene from Dallas. I met him at the BAM. And then, a lot of the who's who of writers in Latino, boxing, older cats. I really do enjoy, and they treat us like gold. Oh my God, so much food that they give us every single day. Just, I mean, pizza for the media, uh, wings every single day. There was food for us, and what a great time. The only other guys that that feed us is Golden Boy, but these guys fed us like, I mean, every single step of the way. The press conferences, the weigh-ins, all night. They just kept bringing more food because the fight. There was like what, one, two, three. There was like 8, 9 fights every night. So we were out there for a long time, and they just kept bringing us all kinds of food, and it was fun, man. They really treat us top notch at MVP, man. I'm really grateful that I had this weekend with them, man. But September 16th, guys, don't miss Mile High, Cholo Trucker, Chicano Tube. They'll be doing some sparring out there for a good cause. A lot of good things they're doing for the raza, bringing out good opportunities for us and raising money for good purposes, man. You want to add anything to that, Mile High, before we leave here?
No, I'm just looking forward to going and working with the brothers. It's not no hate or nothing like that. We're just going to work, man. We're not going to try to show out or nothing. They're all brothers, and I know one guy. His name's Snowman. I don't know him, but I heard he has a boxing pedigree, so it's gonna be nice to throw some leather with another heavyweight. It'd be awesome
Yeah,
again. I enjoy this. I enjoy it. I enjoy it. Um,
it's
it's
gonna be
fun.
good
Fun,
fun.
man.
It's gonna be good, clean fun. A lot of rats out there, a lot of Mexican food. I hear there's gonna be music out there, and you got stars like Chicano Tube, Cholo Trucker's gonna be out there. Your man Mile High here, professional boxer. So go out there and support the raza, guys. Go support these guys and maybe give a donation, give a cash app. All that goes to the raza, kids, betterment of our people, man. So y'all help them out. Go check out those cash apps and get them going. Thank you, Mile High, for joining us, man. Really appreciate you, man. You're always helping us out.
Much love,
Love
brother.
hanging out with you guys, man. I love your view on boxing, man. And salute to what Jake Paul's doing for boxing. I don't really like what he does as far as his antics as boxing him. But the promotion wise for the women and for these lower level fighters, man, and giving them a platform and actually paying them decent money, I think it's awesome, man. I've seen a lot of talented fighters this past weekend. One of our stablemates fought. My coach was out there coaching her. She fought in the preliminaries on the second day. She lost. She lost. She got knocked out in the fourth round, but she no, was it the fifth? I think it was a 6 round fight. She got stopped in the fifth, and she still had some fight in her, but she was getting outclassed. But salutes, man. She went out there and represented for the team, and it's just awesome to see. It's awesome to see these younger fighters, these ones up and comers, starting to get that stage and that money. And boxing's starting to become fun again, man. It's really starting to become fun again, and I'm interested in watching it. You know what I mean? This is stuff I missed for a long time. All this trying to protect your legacy and your O. And I'm sorry, I want to see the best fight the best, man. It is what it is. I don't care about legacy. I want to see the best fight the best.
And that's how you build it. That's how you build your legacy, by fighting the best, man.
Absolutely.
So
Nobody remembers at the end of the day. You know what, man? It's lonely at the top. Um, Frazier and Ollie needed Frazier, man, and Sugar Ray. They needed each other. All those greats, they all needed each other, man, and they gave us some memorable fights. Those are the fights that I was raised on, man. I want to keep seeing that. I want to introduce that stuff to my grandkids and my son and show them what a beautiful art this is. You know what I mean? And is it brutal? Is it violent? Yes, it can be, but man, it's also a beautiful art.
100%
But
agree
thank you
with you.
guys for having me.
Yeah, well put, Mile High. On that note, man, we'll see you guys next week. Thank you, guys.
Keep
You
those
guys
hands
have a
up,
blessed
fellas.
night.
Keep those hands up, fellas. Oh, míralo, míralo.
You guys have a good night, man. Thank you for having me.